Hi everyone. Have you ever heard of a virtual photographer who is actually a brand photographer and they are doing this remotely? Sounds crazy, right? So, welcome to another episode of Random and Famous. And today I have here with me Maria Cavali. Maria, thank you for joining me.
Thank you as well. Thank you for inviting.
It's my pleasure. Maria, can you introduce yourself to your audience, especially for those who might not be familiar with your work?
I'm a brand photographer living in Amsterdam. I'm telling visual stories, mainly working with women entrepreneurs. And just after COVID, I started this amazing new way of photographing, basically changing how photography works, which is remote photography. And how it works, you will probably want to know.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
That sounds crazy, right?
It does sound crazy. First of all, when it just started, I thought it's nonsense. As a photographer, I said it's kind of how is this possible? It's not a real photography and things like that. But actually, the more I'm going deeper into it, I really value freedom and I value the efficiency of it and also the beauty and creativity. And where before you could say like, oh, it's just a phone picture, now I feel like you have to have way more expertise to really photograph remotely because, well, I will explain how it works first. So basically, I can access the back camera of your phone and I am remotely photographing you. So then I'm telling you where to stand, how to look, how to pose, and we are connecting remotely, and the photo shoot, everything goes remotely. So basically, I have clients from Shanghai, I have clients from South America, and I can just basically take pictures in my pajamas. And with new editing skills as well, and with AI, of course, it's getting even more inspiring because I can just photograph you with a white wall and I can put Paris behind you. So for me, it's such an amazing, I always wanted to live somewhere warm. I live in Amsterdam. It's raining all the time, even as we speak. And I also am a single mom, and I always wanted to have more time for my child. And with this photography, I feel like I'm working from home as a photographer and telling visual stories remotely. So I am
Great.
excited, and I just think it's a future. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the future. And actually, I didn't know about this until I spoke with you a couple of weeks ago that this is possible, right? So,
Mhm. You
yeah,
still have to have your shoot. I offered.
yes, exactly. And if we do it, I think I will share it with the community here. This on this.
It would be really nice because I think when we first called, I really loved all the backgrounds and the buildings and your dogs. It was very beautiful.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
crazy dog there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell us about family photography, especially this remote concept. Okay, is personal brand photography all about storytelling?
For me, it is very much about storytelling. And I guess it's the bigger mission of working with women and telling stories and working with women entrepreneurs. Um, it's about empowering women. Well, some people say women don't need empowerment, women need support. And I think for me, it's about supporting women in business in that way because I feel like women don't really like to brag about themselves. I mean, I feel like men, they all know about this. I'm just really noticing it's like a different women, they do business in a different ways. And I feel like for me, brand photography and putting yourself out there, putting your face out there, sharing a little bit more about yourself, bragging about yourself. Let's go that way. For me, it's empowering women to be a woman behind the brand. So not a woman behind the man, but woman behind your brand. So for me, it's a deeper purpose of because I'm meeting so many amazing women that are also mothers and they have dreams, and I feel like telling visual stories helps you to connect with your audience more. And then when the audience trusts you, then of course they also want to be involved with you. They want to buy from you. They trust your service. They trust your products. And so for me, brand photography is a visual story. And the deeper layer of that for me is also to empower women and to encourage them. And I went through this whole process myself because I just loved photography since I was 15. But, becoming a businesswoman, it's a completely different journey. And I remember even I was telling to my ex like 10 years ago, I was like, I don't want to be a businesswoman. I don't want to be, because somehow it had this negative association. And later, especially also after my divorce, I realized that if I want to do what I really love doing, then I have to have some certain discipline. I have to have a structure. I have to have a strategy. It's not like about taking good pictures. And then I went on a burnout as well. And then I really took Excel sheet, which I hate. And I really put, all my expenses, what my business costs, what my insurances are. And then I made my hourly price. And and I feel like when I have a photo shoot with these business women, I also empower them. I share my tools. I share what worked for me. I share like my online business manager contact. I mean, I feel like for me, it's about supporting each other very much. And now remotely, I feel like I have this even new way of being there for each other and creating and co-creating, and it's a very beautiful and creative process for me.
Yeah, it's great to hear that how it's all worked for you, and I'm happy that I'm really glad it's working well for you. So you are doing this for a while now. What is the inspiration behind this?
Of remote photography.
Yeah,
Well, remote photography inspiration is for me that it's very efficient. So and the freedom, and it's also the same for my clients. That let's say I had this client and she has a conference at Ritz Hotel. So for her, flying me to Paris would be really expensive. But then like, hey, I can have photography in my pocket. And I remember I was photographing her. She's sitting on these blue stairs in Ritz Hotel, and then the concierge comes and she's like, "Just wait a second, I have photographer on the line." And it was so funny because I think it was like just after COVID. So for me, it's about changing the way photography works overall, and yeah, and showing up as well. So it's helping you to show up wherever you are, wherever you travel. It's basically creating your brand constantly and continuously. And I started with subscriptions as well. So basically, it's also kind of every month you're forcing yourself to do something. And I experimented myself with my own business. So I had these like really intense periods, and I would work a lot and I would post a lot, and then I would get tired and then I would stop posting. And then it's like this. I feel like social media, I hated it at first, but I really believe it's like a relationship. So if you treat it like one night stand and you're just in there and out, then that's how it works. But I feel like when I really enjoy it right now, I have good boundaries, and I'm not scrolling endlessly. I have good boundaries. I have on Tuesdays my scrolling day, when I consciously choose the time for social media and scrolling and responding. I made clear boundaries when I respond to messages, when I don't. And and now I really feel like it's also somehow healing space for me, because putting yourself out there is very vulnerable. But I feel like the more I really truly open up, the more I attract clients that just want to work with me, and I'm getting goosebumps that I just feel so aligned. Like the people that are really my dream clients come because they know they kind of I allowed them to kind of to get to know me a little bit more. Where before I was posting like really beautiful pictures, kind of, but it was really perfect and cold. And then I guess when you go on the account like that, it's nice, but it doesn't you don't feel anything, and yeah, so for me it's about building that. I'm working with personal brands, so for me it's about even committing to your personal brand more, and showing up for yourself and for your business consistently, continuously, and being the woman behind the
yeah,
brand.
great. And you are also teaching to other photographers as well?
I just started actually, but also they just came to me. So I was like, oh, because at the beginning, of course, you think like, oh, but is it really something that But with remote photography, I feel like I had over 100 photo shoots now, if not more, and you just do things sometimes and you don't realize like that it is a value and it's something valuable for other people. And then everyone started asking me a lot of questions: how I do this, how I do that. And then I started preparing these little templates, but then I realized, well, I can make it into mini course, or I can. And then I even want to try one thing. I want to assist remotely. So then the lady will have a photo shoot. She's a photographer from France. And I will join also online as a kind of assistant from like Amsterdam. Because with the remote photography, I feel I am very creative and in the moment. And that's my superpower. And so, and it's might be challenging also for the person if they don't know you and you're just this little like a voice, you know, in the camera, and they have to trust you. And I never thought about it. I feel like I never thought about that it's a skill. So, but so I'm getting good results, and I'm, you know, very good. And like, let's say if you're sending me the video of your space, I say, okay, that's nice plan, that's nice background, that's a nice light. And you have to know a lot, of course, about the light, about like you can even use, you know, aluminum foil for like reflections on your face. So you can play around. And I guess I always really loved exploring, and I could never do, that's why studio didn't work for me, because it was very same, you know, like 5 backgrounds, you can have 10 or 20. And I was like exploring. So for me, actually remote photography is very personal, because people are calling you from their home. You know, I kind of visit their home. And for me, it's very personal. It's very like it's very personal for me.
I know it's great, and I think it's a great awareness for the wider community that this sort of procedures process also work, and how easy it is for both sides, for the client and for yourself. And I will also share the link in bio for my community, so they can check your profile there and reach
Thank you
out
so
to you.
much.
And but my next question, and I ask this to everyone whoever joins me
Mhm.
in the podcast. So, reflecting on your journey, is there any one specific step that you believe has changed your life? And looking back, you can say, I'm glad that I took that step."
I guess for me, well, now I can talk about it because it's been like already 2 years ago. It's a divorce. I feel like my baby daddy's amazing, man. I love him very much, and he's great person, and we are great friends now, and I love him very very much. But at the moment, I feel like for me, the turning point was when I really started choosing for myself, like fully. You know, and in our relationship, I felt like I started compromising, and then you're settling a little bit, you know, and then you have the child, and then so I think for me this was a very harsh. I would do it maybe in a different way. I did it in a very immature way. So I hope I'm not gonna have, you know, so many more experiences. But I feel like I could have done it not in a different way. But the reason being, like behind that, what I did was more that really choosing for myself. And I think this was the like really harsh step. But since then, I feel like you know, I feel like when you put it honest with yourself
I
and
think
put
it's
it
more
choosing
about,
for yourself.
yeah, I think it's more about choosing to prioritize your own needs and desires, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
in a
But
right
you know,
way.
I'm also coming. Yeah, I'm also coming, you know, from Eastern Europe. My parents, you know, I grew up in Lithuania, and I feel like in Eastern Europe, emotions are not really felt. You know, maybe that's why people have 2 bottles of vodka so then they can talk. You know, because you don't talk. And I feel like I just collected so much, you know, stuff that I was, you know, and then maybe that screaming was a bit too loud, but I was so done. And I think since then, you know, I had to move out. My rent became 1,500 euros, where I paid like 400 euros. I mean, it's like everything just changed, and I had to build my business, and I mean, I had to grow. I had to grow fast. I had to take care of so many things. And but I feel like this was the journey, instead of like being in a bubble and not exactly happy and not really knowing who you really are and what you're capable of.
Yeah,
And that's why maybe.
yeah, I guess sometimes you have to take the risk, but in the right direction, or a calculated risk, we might say, to find out who
Hmm,
you are actually, right? And what you
yeah,
can do, your capabilities comes out, and you can rely on them, and you take your
yeah,
own journey, your own new direction. Maybe some people it's important, and if it works for you, yeah, why not? Yeah.
yeah.
Maria, as we wrap up here, is there any piece of advice or message you would like to share with the community, especially people like yourself? Someone want to start the business, they want to create something, they have ideas, but they're always reluctant to take that step. Okay, for obvious
Hmm.
reasons. People will say, what my family will say, and they're afraid. of that, what they should do, what advice you give them?
I feel like for me, it would be going deeper into your why. I actually, as the brand photographer, before each and every brand shoot, I go into why you do what you do and how you know, and then so did the training also in Ikigai. I did Simon Sinek, you know, all the courses and things. And for me, that's the A to begin with. That's the first step. Because if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, then it's like an Alice in Wonderland. If you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter which road you take. And then I feel like it's kind of waste of life for me. And I am all about efficiency. You see, that's why remote photography is efficient. I'm happy. I'm very much, I hate wasting time. It's my, like, I don't know, it's gonna make me so upset always in life. So I guess for me, knowing your why and going really deeper in your why, because I guess I always, like, for me, I always wanted to, I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know how, and I didn't know like my bigger why behind it. And now I feel like when that why is in place, that why kind of, you know, gives you energy to wake up in the morning, even if it's raining, you want to do things. I mean, it's the start button within you. And I guess when you really align what you do with what you believe in, what really matters to you, then I guess just life becomes really so colorful and beautiful. So
I
I
think,
guess
yeah,
just going into your
yeah, I think it's a great message for the people to identify their why. Okay, whether they're doing personal something in life or in their business or they're working somewhere, whatever you do, you should identify that why I'm doing this and why I'm here. If you can establish that fact, then rest will be okay. That's great. Maria, thank you so much for joining me. It's really
Thank
nice.
you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to my audience, we'll see you soon in the next episode. Thank you and bye now.